know what it is to feel like that ugly duckling. I know what it is to feel like that outsider.
Mm.
And I have that sensitivity for that kid who's in the back of the room, kind of quiet and hiding. Like my eyes kind of automatically go there,
Yeah.
and, have a gentler approach of pulling them out of that and saying, come forward, let me see you, lift your head up, be proud. You're
Mhm.
beautiful. My name is Aisha Ash, and I'm a former dancer with New York City Ballet. I danced there for about 8 years and then went off and danced with Ballet de Lausanne in Switzerland. Came back to the United States, danced with Alonzo King Lines ballet for a couple of years, and then went freelance with Christopher Wilden, who was then having his company Morphosis. And I retired there, got married, had 2 kids. And it was, a little after my first child, which was my daughter, that I decided to start the Swandrons Project. I was really hesitant towards ballet in the very beginning. I started with jazz and tap and lyrical and wanting to do Broadway and doing a ton of competitions. And it was around the age of 13 that I was like, okay, let's just do this ballet thing. And that's when my mom started realizing that kids were going away for the summers and just didn't have any idea where are they going, what are these things, and kind of inquired about summer programming and what it's all about. And it was at that time that she was warned that it would be difficult for me as a woman of color to enter into the ballet world.
Mm.
Now I give my background because since being an inner city child going to suburban school, I always was standing up for women of color and those from environments like mine from a very young age. And I thought, here's an opportunity to do that with my art. I loved it. I didn't have to be front and center. Like I just, and even for me, it was just even being in the studio, just dancing and music and movement. I just loved it. And when I retired early, and I just didn't have that fight in me anymore to keep going. The whole reason I was fighting so hard was for those exact reasons I told you. I wanted to make a difference because of what that would stand for, and having that platform of being a woman of color on stage with that status, and to have that platform to show the world, yes, I'm a woman of color. No, I did not come from wealth. Yes, this is my environment and I'm very proud of it. And now I stand here before you as a princess, a queen, a fairy every single night. And it wasn't until I gave birth to my first child, which was my daughter, that I started really thinking back to, on our coffee table, we had, the dance magazine, the one where I was on the cover. And,
Mhm.
there was, somewhere there was the Ween Award. Um, and I remember just kind of looking around those things and what do I have to show for it? Just a magazine picture and an award, and okay, that's it.
Mm.
Um, and so I thought there's just got to be something I can do. But I knew I was not going back to dancing. I had quit cold turkey and I was very happy being a mom. And I was like, I'm done. Um, and then I thought about, there was this picture on going in the dormitories of the School of American Ballet going from 13 to 14. And it was, at that time, it was on the wall, and it was a picture of Andrea Long. And it was a black and white image, like they almost all are. And she was in a black leotard and pink tights, and she's this beautiful dark skin. And you see the other white dancers behind her, so she just really stands out. I would look at that image and go, I can do it. She did it. I can do it. And at the time, I didn't know her. I never spoke with her. It was just an image. And I thought, if that singular image could be so powerful for me, somebody I never even met, maybe that's what I'll do. Because images at the same time negatively affect us as well. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to use imagery. And so I found a photographer back in my hometown because it was really important for me to have the images taken, not at Lincoln Center, not at State Theater, the Met, or some beautiful opera house, but in my environment, to show people from my environment and show the world, this is where I came from. And I became a ballerina. And I think, more than the images were the conversations that were happening while I was taking the photos. And even when I did the first photo shoot, I told the photographer, look, besides the fact that I wasn't even dancing anymore, I had a baby. I wasn't like, one of these dancers like going back to Pilates. And, I was just like, So I wasn't dancing at all. I wasn't doing anything but motherhood. And so I was like, I'm just going to try to slip on this tutu and, just because but I told him, I said, listen, it's not a ballet shoe. Besides the fact that I couldn't, lift my leg and leap and do all these things, I said, it's also not about that. I don't want this shoot to be about, oh, look at her beautiful grand jeté, or look at that gorgeous développé, or those feet, or it's not about that at all. I want people, when they see these images, I want them to feel the what it is to be a ballerina. And I want them to feel and see that on a Black woman and in my environment. And so I had a Facebook page, and it took me a while. And then I remember kind of putting that first one up and just going, you know what, I'm not even going to caption it or anything. I'm just going to throw it up there and see what happens. And it was the reaction that I got back that was really overwhelming for me, because what I thought was going to happen was that it was going to inspire young dancers, that, like how I was, to see an image and be like, oh, yes, And instead it was adult women, mostly adult women. The project was bigger than ballet. Yeah. And I just used my art as a vehicle to get that message out.
What was your favorite part of being a dancer?
Oh, the ability to express myself in ways that I feel uncomfortable to do in my day-to-day. Dance for me was truly my voice. It is such an escape for me, and I feel so blessed to have that.
What advice do you have for young dancers? And is there anything you wish you had done differently or the community had done differently?
My advice that I always give to young dancers is to be kind to yourself. You have to be your best friend. The other thing that I wish I would have had, and I tell young dancers too, if they can get it, is a mentor. Yeah. I wish I would have. It's not that I didn't have people in my life who loved me and supported me, but it's different having somebody in the field that's kind of shares your experience.
You can also say, like, this is normal. Like, what, like this thing that you're dealing with is normal. Or when I hit that challenge, this is what I did or what I wish I had done. Yeah. And opening that conversation, because yes, I think that is something that is lacking in this community.
It's really, really critical. And the dancers that I have seen excel are the ones, when you talk to them later, they're like, oh, then my mentor. And it wasn't until I was hourly paid, I'm like, all these people had mentors. Where was my mentor? And it's just, I think it makes a very big difference.
When faced with a challenge, are there any mental tools that you use that have helped you?
I think one of the first things that just popped in my mind is just kind of stop, breathe, and regroup. Because for me personally, when something becomes challenging, you immediately start going to that kind of frantic mode. And it's like, I know that I'm not going to be able to accomplish anything in that space. So it was just to kind of stop, breathe, and regroup, and trying to break it down. And this is even when I teach, now I can see dancers who are just having a bad day and just struggling on. And I'm like, this is just today. And it may have just been a crappy day. Accept that. Today, I couldn't even do one turn. Like, it just didn't happen. Like, I couldn't even get up for a single.
Yeah.
Don't let that frame now your entire week, your month, your year. 1 hour of one moment of the day. It happened. Let it go. That sucked. Move on. It's like and that's what I wish I would have done for myself, going back to that first question of yours. It's like, I wish I wouldn't have just dwelled on just the bad, the negative, just to kind of been able to stop, breathe, regroup, and put everything into perspective. That was a bad day. That was a bad class. Next one's going to be better. And even if it's not, okay, the next week is going to be better. Next month is going to be better. Something's going to get better, right?
There's a lot of science with doing that, actually. I've been really fascinated over the last few years with sports psychology, because that's another area where I feel like dance is lacking. And this idea of when you're running from a saber-toothed tiger and you finally, your life is saved, you know, and then you stop and you take this big inhale, exhale. And that's actually scientifically proven to calm your body down and allow you to think again. And so, you know, you're on this scale, you're so high on anxiety that that one breath, even a single breath, can help you regain focus. And I think that's a really powerful tool. And it's really cool that you do that naturally.
Oh, well, it didn't just happen overnight. I think it happens. It's part of, I mean, it was survival. You know, now as a teacher, I see the kids, like, it's just, you can see the anxiety just building and building, and they just, you know, it's like that tumbleweed that's just going out of control. And you're just like, and it's easy now as a teacher because you can see it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I'll tell the kids. I was like, you have no idea how this is so visible to us.
Just
Like,
the eyes, just in the eyes.
like, you don't, and I was like, and I think back, I'm like, God, there must have been some really bad eyes back in the day. But it's like, you don't realize it when you're in it. And I said, but this speaks a lot to us. And so you know, I tell them, I'm like, I can see before you even hit that B+, I'm like, she's not going to do it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see the self-doubt just rush over them. I can see that they've already defeated themselves before they even started. And I stopped them. I'm like, no.
No way. Not gonna work.
We're not going on. We're not going on until you believe it. Step into that B+ going, that time didn't work. Maybe I'm not the best at fortes, but I'm going to attack this. And I'm going to, even if I get one out, and just with that mentality, you know, just with that mentality, just going, I got this, you know. Just,
I tell the kids all the time, you know, a lot of the research that I've done, your brain, once it gets emotional, you're using at the very least 50%. You know, just 50% of your brain can be focused on this dance stuff because you're being emotional and it's just taking up so much of the space. Instead of saying, like, as I mentioned earlier, there's 10 check marks in order to make this work properly. So let's, instead of beating myself up and saying, I suck, I'm the worst, I'm horrible, I can't do this, let's go through. There's one missing check mark. Okay, this is not emotional. Let's go one by one. Do you have it? And most of the time, if we can, like, take a second, we'll see it's very clear that you're just missing a check mark. You forgot about it. And it's not emotional.
Yeah, and also not looking at all the check marks at once.
Yes.
Like I said, moving, it's like, do this, and then painting, and then set it. Okay. One by one. Let's go through. There's no rush. There's no rush. One by one. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn, to fall, to make mistakes, laugh at ourselves. Like, it's okay. It's all we're hearing.
I say all the time, like, there's nothing you can do that's gonna shock me. Like, I've seen it done every single which way. There's nothing that I'm just gonna be like, oh, you know.
Like, it's like we've probably done it ourselves anyway.
Yes.
So.
Yes. What are the benefits to dance education, and what values does it teach?
So, you know, there's just so many. I mean, as they always say, you know, dancers are like the best employees because of because of everything that dance teaches, discipline. And even, I would even go as far as just body awareness. There's an there's an empowerment that comes with that. You know, just knowing, just visually standing from this posture to this posture, and just mentally, everything, physically, what that does for you and what it says to others. And I know that because I've worked with older women who come just because they want that, because they want to bring that into the job market. They want to be able to go to interviews and hold this posture of confidence and poise. I think the resilience, everything that one needs to become a dancer, to be there every day, accountability, personal accountability, if you're injured, how do you take care of yourself? How do you prevent injury? Making sure you're warmed up enough, all of these things that we have to learn at such a young age because we don't have always parents behind us. Okay, get up, go there, you need to go, to stretch. And that personal accountability that you have to develop at such a young age, you carry all of that with you. And that's, that's part of what dance teaches. That's part of our jobs as teachers to remind students of that and to instill that into our dancers, that the respect and decorum. How do you carry yourself into a class, and how do you present yourself? You know, um, all of this is important in dance and beyond.
So, where can we find you on social media, and how can we help your foundation?
I do have a Facebook page, and I think it's just the Swan Dreams Project. I do have an Instagram page at the Swan Dreams Project. And then as far as, helping my organization, I do have a website. 100% goes right back into my project and the work that I do for it. The dream of the project eventually is to have my own center in my hometown. So it's not just a summer program that the kids can come every day after school and have a safe space, and all of those things that I taught them through the summer, they will have access to that year round.
Mm.
That's the dream.
Hey, speaking it out loud is the first step, right?
Yep. Yep.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.